එහෙනම් තෙරුවන් සරණයි.
හොඳයි. එහෙනම් සාදු නාදයක් පවත්වන්න. Venerable members of Maha Sangha, dear friends of the Dhamma, according to our annual calendar, today is the day that blessing ceremony going on for the children who are going to college or school or their education, the new semester blessing ceremony. So we invited Most Venerable Konnanya Hamdro to conduct this program. Accepting our invitation, Konnanya Hamdro came here and he is going to conduct the service and Dhamma sermon. This year, main organizers, sponsors are our Dhamma school children, teachers and children's, their parents, and also our New York Buddhist Vihara Youth Society. And unfortunately, this COVID situation, most of the children and parents, they are participating for this blessing ceremony, leaving their house and virtually. So now, first Dhamma sermon, and after that Buddha Puja and blessing ceremony, because Konnanya Hamdru has another program 8:15. So before that, Konnanya Hamdru wants to finish and to participate the other Dhamma talk. And so more respectfully, on behalf of all the Vihara Bhantes and our children and parents, I would like to invite Konnanya Hamdru to conduct the program right now.
Thank you, Venerable, and thank you all of you for coming. So let us start today's event, today's Dhamma talk, as later on as Bhante mentioned. So you will be doing the offerings and chantings later. So today's Dhamma talk going to be the first to observe before we begin. So let us observe Panchasila first. Say Namo Tassa 3 times, all of you. Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Saṅghāṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Dutiyaṃpi Buddhaṃ saraṇaṃ gacchāmi, Tutiyampi dhammang saranam gacchami. Tutiyampi sanghang saranam gacchami. Tatiyampi buddhang saranam gacchami. Tatiyampi dhammang saranam gacchami. Tatiyampi sanghang saranam gacchami. Pānātipātā vērmani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi. Kāmesu micca adinnādhānā vērmani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi. Kāmesu miccācārā vērmani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi. Musāvādā vērmani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi. Surāmeraya majjapamā datthānā vērmani sikkhapadang samadhiyāmi. Tisaranena saddhiṃ pañcasīlaṃ dhammam sādhukaṃ surakkhitam kattvā appamādena sampādē tabbam. Venerable Mahasangha, dear children, parents, and all the youngsters who are not even here, but virtually who are participating today. This is an annual tradition of this Vihara. Just before beginning new school education year, always you children gather, Dhamma school children and the youth society and the parents get together and celebrate, give blessing to the those students, those children who are going back to school. Back to school ceremony in a way. So we know that it's not easy time, this is a very difficult time period due to COVID. Everybody has to be protected, and for that reason not everybody is gathering. In a large gatherings are not done for 2 years now, so same thing is going on today. However, I believe many of you are participating, being at home. You are with us and joining with these offerings and Paritta chanting and Dhamma talk. So I like to, as I always do, today I like especially focusing on these children. Maybe I want to share something with you. Last year or previous year when we could participate, I was telling you stories and you were reminding the Dhamma. Dhamma is for us to practice, right? Yes, as Dhamma school children, Dhamma is always for us to practice in our everyday life. Even during this COVID, that is going to be your key for your own protection, right? Nobody else is doing that protection. You are the one who is responsible for it. Yes? Yes. So you have to be very careful, very mindful, and also very compassionate. Compassionate to you and compassionate to others. Okay? So that is how you do it. So today I was thinking to share this Dhamma talk in a way we can remember. I think I decided to share something that's a great story. story of, there's a discourse in Samyutta Nikaya called Makkata Sutta. Okay? You have to remember that. You can learn it. Makkata. When you hear this word, you may be thinking, what is this Makkata? It sounds like a singular word. Yes? Have you heard? In Matara area, they use the Makkata, right? So maybe you thought it's about something that came from that area. No. This is coming in the Tripitaka, one of the sutra. Anybody can guess what is this Makkata means? No, right? It doesn't come to your mind, right? You know, Makkata means Vanara in Pali. That's another word. Or in Sinhala we call it Vandura. Right? There's one explanation, something you might have heard. Manena Makkato hoti Atimanena Kukkura. Mana. Mana means what? Arrogance. Conceit. If you have too much of that, if you are too much arrogant, as a result of that mana, you become a monkey. So that also explains in the teaching. Okay? Atimanena kukkura. You're very, very arrogant, you become a dog. Okay? So we have to be very careful, we are very mindful to think, what is wrong with Makkata or this Vanara? What comes to your mind when you hear the word? The monkey. You know, sometimes I used to call you monkey mind. Train our monkey mind. Did you hear that? Sometimes maybe in Dhamma school you heard it. Right? You have a monkey mind. Why? We behave like a monkey. How is the monkey behaving? Huh?
It's always like moving, jumping from tree to tree.
Yes. All is very inquisitive, right? Too busy. Sometimes imitating, right? Sometimes too busy doing some things. If they train well, they can perform nicely too, right? But certain situations, what is doing is really very foolish behavior also there are. You know that even Buddhahamrus, there's one Jataka story, Nalapana Jataka. You didn't know that? I think you learned it. Remember that monkeys were there, Bodhisattva Buddhahamru was in previous life, he was a Bodhisattva, he was the leader of that group, and he advised them, okay, be careful when you are in the jungle, if it is something new, don't touch it, don't go into that without, permission. So they remembered. They were very thirsty, and they wanted to go there, and then they wanted to, drink water, but they remember, they did not go beyond the advice of their leader, right? And listening to them, they saved their lives, because in the lake, there used to be a water demon. He was catching up everybody and eating up, right? So therefore, there are sometimes if they train well, they listen. But whoever was in not listening to their leader, not following the guidelines, they were in trouble, right? In this particular story, the sutta, Makkata Sutta, there is, in the Himalayan range, right, Himavanta, so there is a huge, mountains. King of mountains were there. There are 3 levels in the Himalaya. And in the top level, there are in particular area, no human beings are moving, no other animals were moving. Nobody was moving there. There are certain levels, where that stretch of mountain. So uneven places, nobody was going. And then second stretch of the mountain, there are only animals were moving, but not the human beings. Okay? Animals were moving, not the human beings. And third area, there are animals and also human beings. They all move around. So that area is a little comfortable, and therefore they were moving that area. As they moving and as human beings were possible to move, animals were moving. So they are also in the forest. There are people who are hunting. You know, hunters. What do we call them in Sinhala? They are living on catching up all the other, animals. That's going to be their food. That's called normally. You might have heard. We call Vedda people. Aborigines, kind of, So they move there and they know that they observe carefully how these other animals are moving around. And not only moving around, then they later on, after observing carefully, they trap them. They put a trap for the monkeys. How do they do that? They have kind of tar or glue. So they, of course, they have their devices. Sometimes maybe they have a bow and arrow, sometimes other weapons, and sometimes they use this for the monkeys. They were using kind of tar, and they put in certain areas where monkeys move around. As they have done that, but monkeys, there are mindful monkeys too. Even though they were monkeys, they are very careful. When they see something strange, they do not touch them. They just ignore them and keep going. This is going to be something very dangerous. Something they might have thought. But some, that's like you too. Sometimes among children, what happens? You are very inquisitive. But you who are listening to your parents' advice, always, I know that parents give you advice. Be careful, don't take anything, don't touch anything that you don't know, right? I think your parents should give advices, right? Not to touch anything. Not to take, and also you learn in Dhamma school, not to take anything which does not belong to you, right? So therefore, it comes to your mind and you don't touch them, right? Now you are practicing. That is what we call that you are practicing Dhamma, what you learn in Dhamma school, right? I think that's how you are behaving. Yes. And also always you remember what Amma says at home. Amma says, you are not supposed to touch. You are not supposed to eat anything which you are not familiar with. So therefore, listening to you save yourself, right? That means that you always remember. Now you are being mindful. Being mindful, you are practicing how Amma and Tata guided you, right? In the same way, in this group of monkeys, there were some of them very carefully. They see something new, something very suspicious, but they do not want to. They look from the distance and they keep going. They run. But in this particular group of monkeys, what happened? One they are very inquisitive. Okay? Very inquisitive, and went there and he said, "You just want to touch me." What happened? Huh?
Like something happened.
He got stuck. His hand got stuck. Then he thought, oh, okay, then I can remove, release my hand. So he just thought maybe he used the other hand. Then he just tried to push the other. So he got stuck with that too. And he thought, okay, let me remove my both hands. Thinking that he is smart, I can do it. He used the right fork. That one also got stuck. But still he did not learn a lesson. He didn't think about, wow, then now he's free. Hand to both hands, one leg, they got stuck there. Then he start thinking, not too much thinking, he's very reactive. He's not responding. He's not wisely thinking. Right? Instead of wisely thinking and reacting to things, responding to the situation, he was very quick and he thought, I can release it. So then he used the other one too. Now, both hands and both legs got stuck. Buddha was, using this example. But not only that, he didn't stop there. Then what happened? He thought, oh no, I can release my both hands and both legs. Thinking so, then he used his mouth. Now what happened? All 5 places got stuck in this glue with the tongue. Then all the other monkeys are ran away, and this guy got stuck there. Nothing he can do about it. Now who is going to benefit from that? The hunter. Hunter can come and do anything he wants. Right? Hunter is going to do as he likes. So seeing this, Buddha used this story. He was addressing the monks to teach them. Now, what do you think about it as children? Now, so if we are not listening carefully for the children, what do? What happened to you? You are getting in trouble like too. Right? Yes, so you have to remember very much. Okay? Always you have to remember this story. Makkata story, you have to remember how this monkey got in trouble. Without following the advice of his leaders, being inquisitive, being greedy, desirous, he wanted to experiment it. He thought, okay, then he got in trouble, getting stuck in 5 places. Then you know what Buddha taught. Using this, Buddha addressed the monks. Monks, you have to remember this. If you have to be in the proper range, the feel that you belong. If you go beyond the range that you're supposed to be, you will be in trouble in the very same way. What are these 5 things? He used these 5 places that symbolically he was using.
And he was using both of his hands, both of his hearts and his heart.
Right? And there's something that we have 5 too. What are the 5 things we have? We call it 5 senses. Remember? You always, when you go to learn, you go in a school, you learn how 5 senses are working. So Buddha was telling, we carry the world, right? We create the world using our 5 senses. Is that true? Yes. Eye. With eye, what do we do? We see things and we learn things. Right? Buddha always said that as a Buddhist child, you have to remember this. Right? What Buddha is talking about. We see things, and seeing things, we always learn and learn and learn, so you can do nice things too. Right? And what else do we have? Eye. Then what do we have? Ear. What do we do with ear? Huh? Listening and learning. As a child, that's what you're supposed to do, right? You're supposed to improve. Year by year, you are learning a lot and go to school, and then you become a very successful student, right? Smart student, that's what we're supposed to be, right? And then we have nose. What do we do with that? Smell. And sometimes certain things we like and certain things we don't like. Whatever we do not like, we ignore them, and things that we like, we try to bring it closer to us, right? So what else? Eye, ear, tongue. With the tongue, what do? We taste. And I know that you taste, and sometimes you may be complaining even, oh, I don't like this when you eat something. When Ammi cooks something and give it to you, because Amma is making something very delicious as well as nutritious. Sometimes nutritious things are not that sweet, but very important, right? With nutrition, you become a stronger person, healthy person. So Amma and Tata wants your children to be healthy, right? So therefore, they cook things that is useful for you to be healthy. Then what do? Sometimes I think you ignore them and you don't want to, it's not tasty. You may complain about this is yucky, I don't want to eat this, right? Does that ever happen? Sometimes, right? Yes. And sometimes what happens to you? You may be looking for something very nice and very tasty, but do you think that all these tasty things are very healthy? No, right? It's not healthy. So you have to be very mindful of that, right? So we have to forget not to go after this so beautiful taste that you're looking for, right? So you have to let go of that. But sometimes you cannot do that. You may be crying for, I want that, I want this, you are crying. Okay? So you become greedy. So if we go beyond the limit, what happens? You lose your balance, right? You are getting into more of unhealthy side, right? Instead of maintain the health, so you are going to be losing your health side, and you become more of unnecessary. You become greedy, you become attached to the things which is not helping you, right? So therefore, your parents have more experience. That is the reason why parents are always guiding you, try to teach you. They are the first teachers that you have, and therefore you have to keep that in mind and practice what they teach you, right? In addition, you are of course learning Dhamma school, and you practice those things too, right? Now, eye, ear, tongue, nose, and the body. We're always, looking for comfortable things, right? We like that sensation, right? By doing so, now especially at this time when you're looking at things, look at this COVID. During this COVID, how do we have to behave? We have to touch things, but whatever we touch, after that, what we have to do? Wash our hands, right? Use the sanitizers. Those are the guidelines. If you really want to be protected, not to get sick, right? If you want to stay away from this COVID, we definitely have to follow those advices and protect ourselves. That is, for that you have to be very mindful person. Yes? Now, see, eye, ear, tongue, nose, body, we experience the world and we create the world for us. right? We see the world outside, but in reality, when we think about that, we can see beautiful things around us. There's nothing wrong with that. What is wrong with them? What is the wrong thing? Enjoying the beauty, having the beauty around us, is that wrong? No. What is wrong with that? We see things, but we are not carrying in our mind and are going to be attached to it. Right? So that is why sometimes you are crying. Amma, I like that one, I want it. Do you remember that you were crying for something? Yes? That you didn't believe that what Amma was saying, telling you? Your mother said you don't need this one, so, we don't need it now. But you were you couldn't stop crying. You were crying and crying and crying. Why is that? So desirous. You are attached to what you saw, believing that is very precious. It's not a need, but your desire was there, right? I want it. You have many children, many of us behave like I cannot live without it. That is our behavior, right? If that happens, what Buddha says, he was telling that is for you, but he was talking to the monks. If you are not guarding your senses, so he asks us, what you see, you must be able to let go of them. See them, right? But sometimes what happens when we see something, wow, so beautiful, I really want it. My eye gets stuck in that, like the monkey was getting stuck. Monkey's hand was getting stuck in the glue, right? So if that happens, what do? So when I was passing by, I saw beautiful something. Now my mind got attached to that, and with that mind I come back home, or I come back to the temple. My mind is creating and creating and creating more and more thoughts generating. When we do that, what happens to my mind? My mind gets polluted, right? Dirty. Many thoughts could be keep thinking and thinking and thinking, make inside impurities, right? As we think about it again and again, what generates in my mind is so desirous ideas, right? So that could be really for that time my mind is, instead of making, what Buddha said was, Buddha guided us, helped us, advised us to purify your mind, right? If you have a beautiful mind, then there's nothing wrong with that. But instead what happens, when I'm thinking about that so beautiful something that I saw, it makes my mind repeatedly thinking about it. My mind is not going somewhere else. Like the monkey got stuck in that. Right? So I heard some kind of new song maybe. Then what happens? Maybe these are happening to you too. Certain musics, right? You really want to listen to that one. You even, when your mother was calling you, but you didn't hear it. Why? Your mind got stuck with, ear got stuck with that beautiful sound that you thought, very nice, very beautiful, I want to be like that. I want to sing like that. I want to dance like that. Right? So that got stuck. And with that also same thing happened. Pleasing, very charming, very desirable, very enticing. These are the words that Buddha used. Right? The sound is like that. Not only that. And smell also something similar to that. Right? When you really smell something, oh, this is it. When then you start telling, I really like that scent, I really want. Like girls, you may be even looking for something, that beautification, right? Lipstick and the nail polishes. There are so many things that you like to collect, right? You like to buy. You like So your mind gets stuck there, not you, right? Because if you are not mindfully looking at them, so you can always ask, can I live without it? Right? Can I have my natural beauty with me instead of making polishes, all these colors applying in my nails, right? Applying on my lips and applying on my face. So let me show my natural beauty, right? So if we think so, but what happened? We forget about that because you were listening and you were watching the TV advertisement, and then you see that all these things, then you think you believe that. These people who made those advertisements, they are very smart. They think they know how to trap you. Those are like traps of that hunter, right? Then you think it is important, so you are going without knowing, you got in their trap and you think, I have to buy this one right now, right? So this is how it happens. So eye, ear, tongue, nose, body, these 5, right, senses, we really have to be mindfully act, practice, listen, and listening, smelling, tasting, all these things that we always do, that observe, right? These are called 5 sensual pleasures, right? So we have to balance with that. If you do not balance it, what happens? When we lose the balance, what happened to the monkey, it happened to us too. Right? So Buddha was addressing the monks, and he was guided them, be mindful and not to get trapped into these pleasures, but look at them and let go of them. And also in another teaching he says, there's nothing wrong with them. Their beautiful things are there in the world, but the wrong thing is that you are carrying inside of you by being attached to them. Right? So this is what he was, helping us. So I think in the school life, so you have to be really, when you're remember this story, right? So remembering this story, as Buddha taught you in the Makkata Sutta, right? So we are watching ourselves. Which one should I take? What should I take? Only thing we have to be taking, picking up and think about is what is important to us, right? As a student, what is going to be helpful for me, right? So therefore, very much strongly we all have to keep in our mind that mindfulness is the key of Buddha's teaching, right? It is for everybody, your parents and we and all as children, for you, for all of us. It is important. So mindfully when we are managing things, we have to learn to manage things by ourselves, thinking, not just quickly, reacting to things. Reactions, we good Buddhists, we do not do the reactions. What do? We have to learn to respond. To respond, we have to have patience, right? If we do not have patience, what we do? We really quickly react. That reaction could be really harmful, right? So therefore, reflect on it and think about it. Then, do I really need this one? After asking that question, no, I don't need. I can, I have enough things. So therefore, I'm not going to go after this. So I can let it go. So we have to learn to let go of things, right? Can we do that sometimes? Yes? Have you done that in your life? Yes? Have you ever cried for things, what we have seen? Bugging your parents to buy it for you, I really want it, you did? Now you may be thinking now, when you are, wow, I did those things, maybe I really bothered my parents, so therefore next time I had to remember the story of the monkey and what happened to him. So therefore similarly, this Buddha was so compassionate, right? Buddha was so compassionate for the children and also for the adults, right? All of, he was guiding us, he is trying to help us like a father. guiding his children, because he was always addressing us, monks, I have seen this. Therefore, I am telling you, I experienced this. I could see all these things. These are just things that cheating your eyes, cheating your senses. So mindfully, if you practice, and you can let go of these things, right? So therefore, learn it and practice it. That way you can bring blessing to you. So you are bringing blessing to you. How? By learning and practice. Therefore, Dhamma is a great blessing to us, but only if you are practicing. Yes? Only if you are practicing. If you are not practicing, it's not going to be any help. Right? So therefore, as Dhamma school children and young children, you have opportunity. You can really learn and practice. So when the new semester begins, you go to school and you have to really mindfully listen very carefully, and also remember what Amma and Tatas guide you, their advices before you go to start your school in the morning. After that, then by practicing those things, definitely you are going to be, that it's going to be very beneficial, very helpful for you. And being mindfully practicing those things, you can get the great blessing from your practice. So this is what we have remember for this new school semester, right? You collect everything and learn it, and then apply those things in your everyday life, right? That way you can, what are you collecting is your knowledge, not the other things what you see around, right? Not the behaviors of other people. So that way, if you do practice, you can save yourself without having any problem, right? Without getting COVID infection. So you'll be mindful of those things. When you see things, not jump into wow. So if you, sometimes some people forget, like what happened to the monkey, right? So therefore, this semester you are going to remember this monkey story, and I will respond. I will not behave like the monkey was behaving there. Okay? Okay. So that is my sharing for you to remember during the time in school. So I hope all of you can be safe yourself, and you can bring blessing to your parents to home too, right? If you mindfully practice, so that is going to help you as well as the family members. Otherwise, your behavior may be bringing something not really nice, right? Negative behaviors. So we are not carrying those things. When you come back from school, you learn it and check with your parents if that this is what I learned and this is how I did this. Which way? What do you think? So discuss. Always children should be discussing with the parents, right? Okay. I think so. As good Buddhist children, learning from this is going to be a great blessing. So may you have very successful school year, so very healthy school year. So may you have strength and knowledge to practice and learn and benefit from that teaching. Okay? Always Buddha Sadhu's teaching is a great blessing for us. May you have that great blessings in your during the time of until the next until you finish this whole year. Okay? Okay, thank you. So wish you very success. Okay? Look quick and look quick. Ikmani. හරි. සරණයි. එහෙනම් කට්ටිය එක්කලා වන්දනා කළා කියලා.
Thank you, Hamdro. Your time and your dedication, we are highly appreciated, and thank you again. And this is හොඳයි පින්නතුනි අපි දැන් ඊළම්පස සම්බුද්ධ පූජාව සිද්ධ කරලා අනතුරුව සෙත් පිරි සජ්ජායනය කරනවා දැන් එහෙනම් අප සමගම කවුරු සම්බන්ධ වෙන්න dear friends of the Dhamma, now we are going to dedicate the gifts of drinks to the Buddha with flowers, candlelights and incense sticks. By performing this type of meritorious deed, you can acquire a great deal of merit. We will wish by the power of these merits, may all living beings be well, happy and peace. May all living beings attain ultimate peace. Having that aspiration, please join us to recite this stanza. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Itipiso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho Vidyācarana sampanno sugato lokavidu Anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati Satta deva manussanam buddho bhagavati Swakhato bhagavata dhammo Sanditthiko akaliko Yehi passiko panayiko Paccattam veditabbo viññohiti Supatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho Ujupatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho Nyāyamatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho Sāmīcipatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho Yadidam cattari purisa yugani Atta purisa puggala Esa bhagavato sāvaka sangho Ahuneyo bahuneyo dakhineyo anjali karaniyo Anundaram punyakettam lokassati Ghanasarappaditena dīpena dhammadhamsina Tilokadīpam sambuddham pūjayāmi dhamonudam Gandha sambhārayuttena dhupenaham sugandhina Pūjaye pūjanīyantam pūjābhājanamuttamam Vanna gandha guno betam etam kusuma santatim Pujayami munindassa siripada saroruhe Pujayami buddham kusumena nena punyena medena jahotu mokkhaṃ Uppammilayati yatha idamme kāyo tathāyati vināsa bhāvaṃ Ananta ñāno vimalo dakhineyo gunākaro Patiganhātu bhagavā
කිනෝදක මුත්තමං අදිවාසේතුනෝ බන්තේ සච්ඡං පරිකප්පිතං අනුකම්පං උපාදාය පතිගන්නාතු මුත්තමං අදිවාසේතුනෝ බන්තේ සච්ඡං පරිකප්පිතං අනුකම්පං උපාදාය පතිගන්නාතු මුත්තමං අදිවාසේතුනෝ බන්තේ සච්ඡං පරිකප්පිතං අනුකම්පං උපාදාය පතිගන්නාතු මුත්තමං සුගන්ධං සීතලං කප්පං බසන්න මధుරං සුභං පානීයමේතං භගවා පතිගන්නාතු මුත්තමං වන්දාමි චේතියං සබ්බං සබ්බඨානේ සුපතිට්ඨිතං සාරීරික ධාතු මහා බෝධිම් බුද්ධ රූපං සකලං සදා කායේන වාචා චිත්තේන පමාදේන මයා කතං අච්චයං ගමනේ බන්තේ භූරි පඤ්ඤ තථාගත කායේන වාචා චිත්තේන පමාදේන මයා කතං අච්චයං ගමනේ ධම්ම සම්දිට්ඨික අකාලික කායේන වාචා චිත්තේන පමාදේන මයා කතං අච්චයං ගමනේ සංඝ සුපටිපන්න අනුත්තර ආකාසට්ඨා ච බුම්මට්ඨා දේවානාගා මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤං තං අනුමෝදිत्वा චිරං රක්ඛන්තු ලෝක සාසනං ආකාසට්ඨා ච බුම්මට්ඨා දේවානාගා මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤං තං අනුමෝදිत्वा චිරං රක්ඛන්තු ලෝක සාසනං ආකාසට්ඨා ච බුම්මට්ඨා දේවානාගා මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤං තං අනුමෝදිत्वा චිරං රක්ඛන්තු ලෝක සාසනං ඉදම්මේ ඥාතිනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ ඉදම්මේ ඥාතිනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ ඉදම්මේ ඥාතිනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ දේවෝ අස්සතු කාලේන සස්ස සම්පත්ති හෝතු ච ඊතෝ භවතු ලෝකෝ ච රාජා භවතු ධම්මිකෝ ඉමිනා පුඤ්ඤ කම්මේන මාමේ බාල සමාගමෝ සතං සමාගමෝ හෝතු යාව නිබ්බාන පත්තියා ඉදම්මේ පුඤ්ඤං ආසවක්ඛයා වහං හෝතු සබ්බ දුක්ඛා වමුංචතු.
කාරුණික පින්නතුනි පින්වතියනි දරුදැරියනි මහා සංඝරත්නය ඔබ සෑම කෙනෙකුටම තෙරුවන් සරණ දෙව්රැකවර ලැබේවා නිදුක් නිරෝගී චිරජීවනයේ උදා වේවා කියන ප්‍රාර්ථනාව ආශිර්වාදයේ පෙරදරි කරගෙන පිරිත් ධර්මයේ සජ්ජායනය කරනවා. සබ්බ බුද්ධානුභාවේන සීල බුදුවරයන්න්ගේ ආනුභාවයෙන් සබ්බ ධම්මානුභාවේන ධර්මස්කන්ධේ අපන ගුණ සත්‍ය බලයෙන් සබ්බ සංඝානුභාවේන සංඝ රත්නයේ අපන ගුණ ආශීර්වාද බලයෙන් සදා සොත්ති භවන්තු මේ සෑමදා මට යහපත වේවා සදා සොත්ති භවන්තු තේ සෑමදා ඔබලාට යහපත වේවා කියන ප්‍රාර්ථනා සිත ඇති කරගෙන කවුරුත් පිරිත් ධර්මයේ ශ්‍රවණය කරන්න විශේෂයෙන්ම නව පාසල් වාරය ආරම්භ කරන අපේ දරුදරියන් සෑම කෙනෙකුටම නිදුක්ව නිරෝගීව ඒ ඉගෙනීම් කටයුතු කරගෙන යන්නට කායික මානසික ශක්තිය නොඅඩුවම ලැබේවා දුක් බය රෝග පීඩාදිය දුර වෙලා හිතේ ශක්තිය ඇතිව ගතේ ශක්තිය ඇතිව ඒ ඉගෙනීම් කටයුතු හොඳින් කරගෙන යන්නට වාසනාව ධෛර්ය ශක්තිය ලැබේවා කියන මේ ආශිර්වාදයෙන් අපි පිරිත් ධර්මයේ සත්‍යහානය කරනවා. Now we monks are going to bless you. We are wishing by the power of Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, by the power of all the deities who protect this world, may you have courage, patience and understanding to overcome any kind of failures in your life, to do your new school semester, to do best and good, and having good courage and determination to overcome any kind of problems or things, and we are wishing you happy and prosperous future. And so, having that aspiration, please listen to the chanting. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Itipiso bhagavāraham samma sambuddho vidyācarana sampanno Sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhamma dharati sattā deva manussanam buddho bhagavati swattatu bhagavata dhammo sanditthiko akaliko ehi vassiko banayiko paccattam vedi tabbo viññuhiti supatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho yupatipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho ñāya patipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho sāmīci patipanno bhagavato sāvaka sangho yatidaṃ cattārī purisa yugāni anda purisa puggalayesa bhagavato sāvaka sangho Auneyo dakkineyo anjali karaniyo anundaram puññakettam lokassāti etena saccavajjena pādudam ratanandayam etena saccavajjena pādudam ratanandayam etena saccavajjena pādudam ratanandayam karaniya madda kusalena yantam sandam padam apisamecca sakko juja sujuja suvajo jassa muduvanadimani sannassa koca subaroca ambaginoca salloga uddhi samdindriyoca nipakoca appagappo kulesu ananugiddo nacakuddam samajare kinciyena inyo pare upadeyum sukino akemino andu sabbe sanda bhavantu sukitanda eketi pāna bhūtanti tasavādāvarāvā anavase sādhīgāvā emantāvā majjimārassakārukato ditthāvā eva andinnaye ca dūre vasanti avi
ජීවා සම්මේ සන්තා භවන්තු සුඛිතං දානබරෝ පරං නිකුම්බේත ඥාති මඤ්ඤේත කන්දදිනං අංජී ප්‍යාරෝසනා පටිඝ සංඥා නාඤ්ඤ මඤ්ඤස්ස දුක්ඛ මිච්ඡය මාදායතානියම් බුද්ධං ආයුදායක බුද්ධ මනුරක්ඛේ වම්පි සබ්බ භූතේසු මාන සම්භාවේ අපරිමාණං මෙත්තං ච සබ්බ ලෝකස්මින්මාන සම්භාවේ අපරිමාණං උද්දං අදෝච තිරියං ච අසම්බාධං අවේරං අසපන්දං දින්නම් චරං නිදින්නෝ ආසයානෝ ආයාවලන්ත විගතමින්දෝ ඒතං සතින් තේය බ්‍රහ්මමේතං විහාරං ඉදමාවෝ දිට්ඨිංච අනුපගම්ම සීලවාදන්තනේන සම්පන්නෝ කාමේසු විනය්‍යකේතං නයිජාතු කම්පදෙය්‍යං පුනරේතිති ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන සබ්බ දුක්ඛං විනස්සතු ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන සබ්බ භයං විනස්සතු ඒතේන සච්ච වජ්ජේන සබ්බ රෝගෝ විනස්සතු තනගතා විරාජෙන්වාමාරං සවායිනින් ජතු සච්චා මතර සංයේ විවින්තු නරාතපතන්නං කරාදයෝ බුද්ධා සතිනායකා සබ්බේ පතිට්ඨිතා දුයම් මත්තකේතේ මුනිස්සරා පතිට්ඨිතා බුද්ධා ධම්මෝ ජතවලෝචනේ සංඝෝ පතිට්ඨිතෝ දුයම් වේ සබ්බ ගුණාකරෝ හතේ අනුරුද්ධෝ ච උපාරිපුන්දෝ ච දක්ඛිනේ උන්නඤ්ඤෝ විත්ති භාගම්මින් සුරියෝ සිවාමගේ දක්ඛිනේ සවනේ තුයං ආහුං ආනන්ද රාහුලා කස්සපෝ ච මහානාමෝ බෝධුං වාමදෝතගේ තේ පිට්ටි භාගස්මින් සුරියෝ විය පබංගරෝ නොදිරි සම්පන්නෝ සෝපිතෝ මුනි පුංගවෝ අස්සගෝ නාම මහේසි චිත්තවාදගෝ සෝතුයං වදනේ නිත්‍යං අතින්දාති ගුණකරෝ පුන්නෝ අංගුලිමාලෝ ච උපාලීනං දසීවරී තේරා පංචයිමේ ජාතාලරාඨේ තිලකාතව සේසාසීති මහතේරා විජිතා ජින සාවකායනන්දාසීල දේජේන අංගමංගේ සුදණ්ඩිතා රතනං පුරතෝ ආදී දක්ඛිනේ මෙද්ද සුත්තකං අයක්නම් පච්චතෝ ආදී වාමේ අංගුලිමාලකං පරිත්තං ච ආදානාදිය සුත්තකං ආකාසච්ඡතනං ආදීසේසාපාතාර සංඤිතා ජිනානා බල සංයුත්තේ ධම්ම භාගාර ලංකතේ වසතු තේ චතු කිච්චේන සදා සම්බුද්ධ පඤ්ජරේ වාත පිත්තාදි සංජාතා වාහිරජ්ජන්තු බද්දවා සේසා විලයං යන්තු අනන්ත ගුණ තේජසා නින පංජර මජ්ජට්ටං විහරන්තම් මහිතලේ සදා පාලෙන්තු තං සබ්බේ තේ මහා පුරිසාසභා ඉච්ඡේව මච්ඡන්ත ගතෝ දුරක්ඛෝ ජිනානුභාවේන ජිතූපපන්දවෝ බුද්ධානුභාවේන හතාරි සංඝෝ චරායි සද්දම් අනුභාව පාලිතෝ මච්ඡන්ත කතෝ සුරක්ඛෝ ජිනානුභාවේන ජිතූපබන්ධෝ ධම්මානුභාවේන හතරි සංඝෝ චරායි සද්ධම්මනුභාව පාලිතෝ මච්ඡන්ත කතෝ සුරක්ඛෝ ජිනානුභාවේන ජිතූපබන්ධෝ සංඝානුභාවේන හතරි සංඝෝ චරායි සද්ධම්මනුභාව පාලිතෝ සද්ධම්ම පාකාර පරික්ඛිතෝස්මි අට්ඨාරියා අට්ඨ දිසාසු හොන්ති එත්තන්තරේ අට්ඨනාතා භවන්ති උද්දං විධානං වදිනාති තාතේ හින්දන්තෝ මාරසේනං තව සිරසිරිතෝ බෝධිමාරුය සන්දා මොක්ඛල්ලානෝ සිවාමේ වසති බුජතටේ දක්ඛිනේ සාරිපුත්තෝ ධම්මෝ මජ්ජේ පුරස්මින් විහෙරති භවතෝ මොක්ඛතෝ මෝරයෝනිං සම්පත්තෝ බෝධිසත්තෝ චරණ යුගගතෝ භානුලෝකේ ජනාතෝ සබ්බාව මංගලමුපන්දව දුන්නිමින්දං සබ්බීති රෝගගාදෝස මසේස නින්දා සබ්බන්තරාය බය දුස්සු විනං අකන්දම් බුද්ධානුභාවේ අවරේන භයාදුනාසං සබ්බාව මංගලමුපන්දව දුන්නිමින්දං සබ්බීති රෝගගාදෝස මසේස නින්දා සබ්බන්තරාය බය දුස්සු විනං අකන්දම් ධම්මානුභාව පවරේන භයාදුනාසං සබ්බාව මංගලමුපන්දව දුන්නිමින්දං සබ්බීති රෝගගාදෝස මසේස නින්දා සබ්බන්තරාය බය දුස්සු විනං අකන්දං සංඝානුභාව පවරේන භයාදුනාසං සබ්බේ බුද්ධා බලම් බන්ධා පච්චේ කානංජයම් බලං අරහං දානංජ දේජේන රක්ඛං බන්ධාමි සබ්බතෝ සබ්බේ බුද්ධා බලම් බන්ධා පච්චේ කානංජයම් බලං අරහං දානංජ දේජේන රක්ඛං බන්ධාමි සබ්බතෝ සබ්බේ බුද්ධා බලප්පත්තා පච්චේ කානංජයම් බලං අරහං දානංජ දේජේන රක්ඛං බන්ධාමි සබ්බතෝ.
හොඳයි පින්නතුනි, අද මේ සෙත් පිරිස් සජ්ජායනය වගේම ධර්ම දේශනා මේ කටයුතු සඳහා ප්‍රධාන දායකත්වය දැරුවේ නිව්යෝක් අප විහාරස්ථානයේ දහම් පාසලේ දරුදැරියන්, එම ආචාර්ය මණ්ඩලය, එම දෙමාපියන් සහ මෙම විහාරස්ථානයට සම්බන්ධව පවත්වාගෙන එන යෞවන සමාජයේ දරුදැරියන්, එවැගේම මේ දෙමාපියන්, ඒ සෑම කෙනෙකුට මේ අවස්ථාවේදී අප පින් අනුමෝදන් කරනවා. සැමටම ශක්තිය ධෛර්යය ලැබේවා කියලා ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා. තවම අපි දහම් පාසල ආරම්භ කිරීමට දිනයක් යොදාගත්තේ නැහැ. පාසල් පටන් අරගෙන සතියක් අමාරක් ගත වුණාට පසුව අපි තීරණය කරනවා දහම් පාසල කොයි දවසේද පටන් ගන්නෙ, කොයි ආකාරයෙන්ද පටන් ගන්නෙ කියන එක පසුවට අපි තීරණය කරනවා. ඒ තාක් තවම නිමාඩු කාලය. ඔබ සෑම කෙනෙකුටම සම්මා සම්බුදු සරණයි. එන්න පිළිත් පැන් ගන්න. එන්න නිසාත් මහත්තයා එන්න.